I'm having breakfast with Larry Lee. Yo-da-lo-dee, yo-da-lo-dee. I'm having breakfast with Larry Lee.
Great to be back with you on the podcast, and since we last met, we're back on Standard Time, which means that now we're thrown into darkness a lot earlier. Reminds me of a song. When the moon hits your eye and it's 5:45, it's November. And wow, with the cold weather that moved back in, the leaves are really starting to fall, which is sort of a good thing, because now those ugly patches of brown dead grass in my lawn are covered up with dead leaves. And speaking of leaves, that brings me to my topic for this week's podcast. It's called The Lessons of Leaves. Now, I love trees, and I have never shied away from confessing through the years that I talk to my trees here in the woods where I live, and yeah, I occasionally hug them, especially the giant sycamores that keep watch by the creek. There is such a connection I feel with the older trees because I know that they shaded generations of my relatives and watched the comings and goings of family members long gone, and heard the laughter of cousins who are now in their 80s. And yet still, the offspring of family members continue to gather and play and eat united under their big branches, which literally makes these family trees. But I think I feel closest to my tree roots in the fall. And I know a lot of folks find autumn depressing because it means winter's coming, they're going to feel cold again, and then the heating bills go up. They don't like seeing bare trees and the dying leaves. They prefer the rebirth of spring and flowers that come back from the dead of winter. And I love spring too, but I think for me, fall is my favorite. I love being outside, and the cooler temps just fill me with an energy, not to mention just the comfortable sleeping with windows open. And autumn brings out the true colors of a tree, the maroons and the reds, the yellows, oranges, and browns. It's not just a monotone scene of green like we see in summer, but it's a picturesque palette where trees save their best for last. As kids, we were all connected to trees, climbing them, tree forts, saving leaves and identifying them. Remember those projects in school? My dad passed away in 1998 at the age of 85, and I was going through his papers when he passed, and I found a notebook from his grade school years in northern Maine that had leaves mounted and identified, more than likely from the trees around his farm. And it blew me away that after all this time, those tree treasures were still intact. And I couldn't help but wonder if some of those trees that had shed these leaves that my dad collected as a boy, just wondered if they were still alive. But back to the theme of life lessons from trees. For me, the biggest lesson from trees around my woods that I observe is just the art of letting go. I mean, we as humans, we hold on to so many burdens, physical and emotional, through our lives, and we do our best at this thing called living, but there comes a time, and nature knows when to just let go. I love to watch the leaves fly after they release from the family tree. I love running through the yard trying to catch them, even now at my age. And I silently thank these trees for the summer shade and all the colors that they shared, and the ritual of raking, making huge piles to save for my garden, or just to watch Maggie jump into the piles like my kids used to when they were little. And that smell, there's just an aroma of autumn and the dry leaves that pleases my brain. It's a sweet smell. Now, we live along a creek, and for those leaves that drop in on the creek, as opposed to the yard, the life lesson is even more powerful, because not only do the leaves answer the call to let go, but once afloat on the water, they just go with the flow. Lots of folks have written poems or songs about comparing the seasons of the year to the stages of our life as humans. So I guess I'm sort of in the autumn of my life. I'm hoping early autumn. But when the time is right, I look forward to floating away on the breeze, letting go of the baggage and the aches that I will have accumulated, and just leave it on the tree of life, knowing that I did my best, and that come the spring, the next generation will pick up where I left off. There's just a calm and a peace in knowing this. And when it's time to let go, whether I float through the air or on the water, I trust that I'll end up where I'm meant to be, resting in peace on a forest floor or somebody's compost pile. All right, let me climb off of my Lessons from Leaves soapbox here, and let's check the podcast planner, nationaldaycalendar.com. Monday, November the 6th, it's National Nachos Day. Tuesday the 7th is International Merlot Day, one of the world's most popular red wines. Wednesday the 8th, we can celebrate National Harvey Wallbanger Day and National Cappuccino Day. Let's see, a cappuccino in the morning, a little Wallbanger in the afternoon. Thursday, November 9th, it's National Scrapple Day. You know, scrapple is the first pork food invented in America, and traditionally, I love this description of the ingredients, a mush of pork scraps and trimmings combined with cornmeal, wheat flour, and spices. I think it's that mush of scraps that piques my appetite. Friday, November 10th, it's the birthday of the U.S. Marine Corps, founded November 10th, 1775. Saturday, the 11th, it's Veterans Day. Think of all the veterans you know, whether it's family members or friends. Pick up the phone, give them a call, say thank you, send them an email, send them a text, and the fact that you were thinking of them on this special day, Veterans Day, means a lot, a whole lot. Sunday the 12th, it's National Pizza with the Works Except Anchovies Day. So load it up. I'm always so grateful that we get to spend this time together. Appreciate your sharing the website, breakfastwithbarrylee.com, with others so that they can listen too. So in closing, with my leaf theme, I don't know who came up with this quote, but I love it. The autumn leaves are a lot like raising kids. First, they turn on you, and then they fly away. And the next thing you know, you look out the window and they're back. Have a blessed week.